Hello, freshmen, or soon to be freshmen of Papua University or any other university you are currently enrolled with. My name is Kurt Lawrence de la Cruz, a freshman of Mapua University taking the course of computer science, and this is my video blog on sharing my experiences and knowledge about my course and classes that I took this first year. I'll be honest with you guys. This is something that I didn't choose, or something that I didn't think out of nowhere. This video blog is something not even I even typically do. However, this is my project integration of the subject The Life Works or of Rizal, or simply Rizal 110. Now, you may be wondering right now, I'm in college right now, right? Why is there still a subject about Rizal and his works? Isn't that subject only in high school or even senior high school? I know. I get it. It may be surprising, but there is still one subject pertaining to Rizal in college. Now, don't get too bummed out, because Rizal 110 is a great subject in which you will truly appreciate our national hero and his work. Now, I hear you, fellow freshmen, and soon to be freshmen, by the way. You're asking if this subject is mandatory or optional. Well, I understand, but sadly, according to the Rizal Law, or Republic Act number 142, it is necessary to include in the curricula of all public and private schools, colleges, and universities on the life of works and writings of Jose Rizal, particularly his novels, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, which authorizes the printing, distribution thereof, and or other purposes. So basically, you guys have no choice. But you need to take and pass this subject to graduate, basically. However, again, it's not all that bad, because in this subject, in my experience personally, this subject is about studying the life of Rizal and his works in a most in-depth way, rather than studying it in high school or senior high, which only tackles one book at a year, I think, or so for. Well, to give you an idea as to what is in the subject Rizal 110, I will discuss some of the topic that was introduced to us and discussed. But before I do, I need to discuss who the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dr. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonzo Realonda. Oh my god, that's a lengthy name, I know. His parents must not want him to get lost or something. But jokes aside, Dr. Jose Rizal, in short, was a first of all in the title itself, as you heard, was a doctor who studied in two of the most prestigious schools at his time. And sadly for us Mapuan students, Dr. Jose Rizal did not study at Mapua University, or I even doubt that Mapua existed at Dr. Jose Rizal's time. Dr. Jose Rizal studied at Ateneo de Manila and University of Santo Tomas, where he both graduated with high notable honors. Take note that he graduated two of the most prestigious universities at his time and graduated at high honors. Like, that is incredible. Not known to many, but Rizal's first choice was not medicines. It came as a shock, because he's basically a doctor at his profession, but it was not his first choice. When he studied at Ateneo de Manila, he wanted to pursue the arts, and he graduated actually and got a bachelor's degree in arts. But when he studied at University of Santo Tomas, at first he wanted to study philosophy, but suddenly changed because of his mother's failing eyesight. He wanted to cure that, and so he switched to medicine, and that's the whole reason why he became a doctor. And other than his father's failing eyesight, Doc Father Pablo Ramon, who was like the principal, or in their term, Father Rector of Ateneo, who he asked and for career advice, or any advice regarding his choice of career, he said it was medicine for him. Well, that's enough about his intelligence and his educational background. As you guys can clearly see, he was a brilliant guy who managed to study multiple courses and somehow, by the luck of the gods, be successful in all of them. In this day and age, I sure wish I have Rizal's intelligence so that I could probably take up multiple courses and graduate in all of them and get a very, very good job, but we're not all Rizal. So let's move on as to why he was considered as our national hero. For those living under a rock, I hope you're not, or if you're a foreigner trying to study who Dr. Rizal is or fascinated by him, he's one of the reasons, if not the only reason, why Filipinos had the courage to revolt against the Spaniards who were oppressing our country for more than 300 years. You might be thinking right now, oh, that guy is just an ordinary war hero that fought in a war with guns or whatever, a typical hero story. That, I mean, if you look back and realize how many heroes are there in war, I mean, I'm I'm not blaming you guys for thinking that he's just an ordinary war hero. However, but that is where you're all gravely mistaken, my dear freshmen. Dr. Jose Rizal proved that once and for all that the pen is ultimately stronger than the sword. Dr. Jose Rizal did not fight using any military might or deadly weapons to stop the oppressors, but he wrote 2 novels. Right, books. It's not guns, it's not swords, it's not any weapon, but books. 2 novels that forever changed the course of Philippine history. Of course, if you haven't heard, those books are Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. These 2 books that Rizal wrote opened the mind of many Filipino people that we didn't realize or was scared enough to act in the abuse of the Spaniards against them. These 2 books gave hope, courage, and voice to those who are fighting for the rights of their country, which is our country. Ultimately, these books are the pushing factors that drove a lot of Filipino people to fight for their country and push back any oppressor that may come in their territory. As you have noticed, not just the Spaniards that oppressed us, but also the Japanese, the Americans, we all fought in those wars just to make them stop oppressing our country. Well, freshmen, are you now hooked who Rizal is or what his book has to say to make these people, I mean, imagine many people got awakened to revolt by reading our book. Let that sink in for a minute, that by reading a book, people got awakened to revolt. They had the idea to fight back even though they were scared. Well, you're in luck if you're interested, because this subject, you will not only learn the life of Dr. Jose Rizal leading to his untimely death, but also a few his other works that are not Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. This subject, let me explain. If you choose to embrace it with all your might, with all your time, with all your intelligence, will make you aware and even appreciate the country you live in today. Of course, meanwhile the pandemic and other diseases that is coming to this country, this is not the world that is the best, but it will make you appreciate what we have today. Not only will it make you appreciate it, the country and the world, but also make you respect the heroes that fought for the freedom we have today at the expense of their lives. Do you now realize how important the law is? This law of RA 1425 or the Rizal law. Do you now think that this is not important? Do you think that this is unimportant or is not even mandatory for us? But this subject, in my take, is important. This law is important actually to make me and you and other future generations of Filipino, to make us not forget those who have paved the way of making our life better. We must follow in their example in making the world better. Ultimately, if not by fighting or writing a book, in our own little small ways, by helping or making the economy better, whatever. But we must follow in their example in making the world better than what it was in Rizal's time and what it is right now. Again, future freshmen, my name is Dela Cruz, and I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. See ya on the flip side.